Do you know what? Robbie and I were in Darts Farm and I was saying, oh, we want somebody from Darts Farm to come on the pod. And we went and asked the butcher for some meat.
He'll know, for some meat.
For some meat. Went and asked the butcher for some, where's the meat rub? Because we were getting Robbie's stepdad a present for Christmas.
Right.
Anyway, and then the butcher came out from the counter and showed us where the thing was. And this random guy was like, what are you doing? You don't do this. You get behind the counter. And it was all Bants. And he was like, oh yeah, he's a great employee. Da, da, da. And then Robbie was like, oh, I wonder if that's George Rutt. And I was like, no, it won't be. And then looked on LinkedIn and it was.
So you missed the opportunity.
So I missed the opportunity.
I don't know them both.
That's not like you.
I've played rugby against them both, so I know who they are.
It's not very nice.
What? Yeah, normally you take opportunities with both hands.
Do I?
Yeah.
Right, guys.
God.
No, cut that out, Patty. Start again.
Absolutely not. We start there. Welcome back to the Konkering Pod, first recording of the year.
Season 3. Season 3, baby.
There's no retakes.
We're all in the studio. We're all in the studio. What are we doing?
We're looking back. I was going to sing that song, but I already made that joke.
Oh, it's quite late in the day. Vibes are low, but they are coming up.
They're coming up.
They're coming up.
Yeah.
No, come on. What are we actually doing, Tom?
We're doing a recap of 2025.
Yeah.
Quick look back at our favourite guests, moments, topics, talking points. I wasn't in every podcast, so you guys might have a different view on things to me, which is quite interesting. And then a little look forward to 2026. What's in store? We might call out a few names.
Few people we want.
So listen up. Your name might be on the list. Go on then, man, to kick us off. 2025.
2025.
How was the podcast for you in 2025?
Do you know what? I personally feel like I did a lot of growing on the podcast in 2025.
Why?
Give us a little summary. Yeah, give us a few words. How was 2025 for you? Second season.
I started off as a bit of a mute, didn't really talk that much, and then gained some confidence.
Still finding your voice, aren't you?
Still finding my voice. Basically, it's all about the prep for me with the podcasts. Because it's not the day job, it's quite hard to find the time.
It's tricky.
But I realised...
You do an awful lot behind the scenes, don't you, which people don't necessarily see or hear.
Yeah. So, yeah, putting the prep in, that really helped. And if you do come on the podcast, I actually have a really nice meeting with you beforehand, so we really get to know each other. And that really helped as well. So, yeah, I think I did a lot of personal growing, but also we had lots of very lovely people on the pod.
We had a lot of lovely people. We had a lot of actually like quite tactical advice, I found, while doing a little bit of prep for this, looking back.
Actionable advice.
Actionable, tactical advice from like an eclectic mix of people as well. So no, it's good. Good mix. 12 guests in total.
12 guests.
Go on and run through them. Who were there? On the spot.
I've got them here if you want them.
Go on then.
Giles Blight. This is in
reverse
chronological order. AJ Sharma, Brad Burton, Misty Nichols, Abby Britton, Steve Manser, or Duck Manser as I call him, Sophie Yozobaski, Kate Williams, Hannah Mepstead, Chris Bentley, Caroline Orr. And that is didn't want to overgo. There was a few unpacked in there as well, and it looks like we changed the name of those unpacked a few times.
You changed the name. Do you know, everyone? I don't know if you noticed. I'm really talking to the cameras today, but Jevon would just post whatever he felt the title of that podcast was on the day on LinkedIn. So we all made the decision that it was going to be. I think to start with, it was Life at Conker. Yeah, nobody liked that. Not very original. Fair enough. And then Jevon would just post on LinkedIn just whatever you thought the title of that podcast was on the day.
What for guests?
No, for the unpacked one.
Yeah,
it was like Life at Conker was the series title, and then Jevon put behind the scenes at Conker something.
Did the job, didn't it?
Yeah, blew up.
Yeah.
So come on, there's a few in there for me which really stood out. Tell you what, my summary of the year last year was I was really pleasantly surprised about how much I learned in each podcast. And it was a bit like, when you go do training that, sometimes you already know quite a lot about. A lot of it was like reinvigoration and like, a bit of a kickstart to do certain things. And what I enjoyed and it's maybe like a really good takeaway for listeners, is that we're speaking to so many different people, so many different businesses, so many different like specialities. And it was just like how to apply that to Konker and our business, and like applying all of those things. So not just thinking as Konker as, you know, the business that is the recruitment business, but trying to add in all these great things that all these businesses were doing into the Konker processes. That's what I enjoyed about last year.
No, totally agree with that. It's like, what can you swipe and deploy from every conversation and make use of in our day to day? And I had the same sort of thing. It was like the overarching like message from the year was build things that compound. So like my, a couple of like the guests I put down was like Kate Williams. She was very much about owning your audience and nurturing it. So I think she had a line in there. It was like, you don't own social media, you don't own LinkedIn, so you don't own those impressions, but you own your CRM, your database, and you own that audience. It was like small behaviors that make a big difference from Steve Manser. So like little small things over time. Did I get his name right? Steve Manser?
Yeah.
Doug Manser. Just go back to Kate, because I think we've all got a few things to say about her podcast.
Yeah.
I haven't got an awful lot other than the fact, you know, what you've just said, but it also took me on a real journey of like email marketing. I didn't really know anything about that, but that started off the journey and it evolved the whole way, because it's definitely evolved with like what you're doing at the moment, but it brought us to what we're doing now, in terms of like our BD and our outreach and our sequencing and automation.
Yeah.
And again, we really wanted to apply that to the business, but we didn't quite get it right, did we? It took a bit of time to actually try and get those things right.
Yeah, it's very much like half a job. So like Kate's big point or big takeaway was you don't own social media, you own your database. Get your data into a platform, segment it properly, personalize things properly, build the funnel, automate, and then nurture. And then marketing becomes much more measurable. So that was like the overarching message.
The best thing about Kate's podcast is she just didn't gatekeep anything. Like, we asked her a question, she just told us the answer. Yeah. She wasn't keeping it for her and for how she helps her clients. She was just really keen to help everyone. And well, she helped us, didn't she?
Yeah.
And those that listened.
Yeah, definitely.
So she was good. Who else was good?
Duck Manser.
Yeah, Duck Manser. Aw.
I don't say that with offence. I say that in jest.
No, I'm just thinking of ducks and Steve when you say that. He just blew our minds, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Blew our minds. It blew my mind. Do you know the thing that blew my mind the most was our reading age, the average reading age, in the UK is 9 to 11 years old.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
That is mental.
Simplify things.
Just simplify it.
Well, then what else stood out for you about him? Do you have anything?
Yeah, I did. I had a list, actually.
The things that stood out for me with him, and he was very techie, wasn't he? Like, had a lot of theory.
So many quotes.
But the thing that stood out for me was his examples with like the sold out.
Sold out over out of stock.
And just like little psychological things like that. And like how you can apply those to just like the tiniest little things. Yeah.
So another one was like join rather than sign up, because it was like people feel like a fear of commitment by having signing up. It's like, what am I signing up for? Whereas join is just a bit more casual, a bit more relaxed. And
it helps with their community engagement because you feel like you're joining something. And when you look on the DC UK website, it really is a community, and every little bit of it has that essence of bringing you into everything that they do, whether it's like the blogs or even just signing up for the newsletter. And even the way that I looked at that the other day and the way it pops up, you know how sometimes on websites they're like, sign up or miss out every time we have an offer. Whereas this is like, I think on DC UK's at the moment is join us now or maybe later. Like, no, there's no pressure with it. So yeah, really clever. All of the concrete language, all of that stuff was clever.
With that kind of stuff, like the psychological and all that sort of thing, it was... I quite enjoy that. I feel like I'm good at that space already without knowing as much as he does. It's crazy. But like, again, the application side from us is just thinking about how the user, like our clients and candidates, interact with every like touch point of ours rather than thinking about how we interact with it.
Yeah.
And like we were going through that document the other day and like we were looking through it through that lens in particular rather through our lens, and it completely changes things, doesn't it? You know, you've got to think about how other people interact with it and every touch point of our business rather than just us.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're into behavioral marketing or like thought that's an interesting topic, like Steve really broke it down into how a tiny set of free tweaks just compound over like a website or a campaign or whatever it is that you might be doing. So definitely check his out. That was great. Who else?
Another one of my favourite was Misty Nichols. Felt like she was so honest.
She was so honest.
Wasn't she?
She was so honest. I've gone, you go yours and then I'll go into mine.
Just really talked about how Griffin was not an overnight success and how it really did take a long time for them to get to where they are. And she was even honest that, you know, they're still building. The main thing that I took away was about their culture. And I won't reenact it, but there's a great video that Pat can swipe in here.
Some people are eagles and some people are ducks. Eagles, they kind of hunt live prey, don't they? They soar high. They keep their families protected, out of harm's way. Ducks. Room's too hot. Food wasn't there. Not enough coffee.
She talks about how every business has ducks and eagles, and eagles are the people that, you know, want to do well, are kind of leading by example and really try and uplift everybody in the team. And the ducks are the one going around the office moaning and trying nitpicking, waddling around. Yeah. And she basically had a few ducks in the team, and as soon as they left or they got rid of them, everybody just turned into an eagle, and it just had such an uplift on everything that they do. And
to develop on that from my side, like what I've got written down here is how she didn't let things like bad things or like bad stuff go on for too long. Like she was fairly cutthroat with her approach with this sort of stuff, wasn't she?
Yeah.
And it's so easy to say, oh, you know, don't let, you know, things go on, or, you know, and we've had it so many times where we've looked back and we thought, oh, bloody hell, we should have acted way sooner. It's so hard to do that. But she was pretty cutthroat, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Like to look after her culture.
And even like going forward, I think she's taken it into her interview process that if she has any glimmer of doubt, then they're just not the right person. And that's really hard as well.
And she set up her management team really well. So it was such a clear and open space for people to actually comment on these things as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because she's not the only one making the decisions. She's a sole owner, sole founder with another person, sort of joined a bit after, but she had that management team and she tried to foster that environment, culture again.
Yeah. I thought it was not that I'm a business owner myself, but I thought it was a really good episode for business owners in particular.
Because, I love that because it's so applicable, because you might think, oh, an accountancy business owner, what's that got to do with me? But actually it's like the same lessons and experiences that apply to every business that she's speaking about.
And again, just quickly going back to the actionable points at the beginning of the episode, specifically, she spoke a lot about, you know, little like tips that business owners can do that help cash flow and like reduce tax legally. So yeah, that was really interesting as well.
Nice, love that. I didn't have necessarily loads of like points for this one, but it was actually just a favorite quote that I wrote it down in my book whilst I was in there listening behind the scenes, and that was Giles Blight, the last podcast that we done at the end of last year. It was all about culture. And he said, if you put a garlic clove in a satsuma, it fits, but it doesn't belong.
Love that.
Like, how good is that?
Mic drop.
Mic drop.
That was brilliant. That was one of my favourite takeaways.
I'd never heard that before.
Yeah, brilliant.
But like that all just speaks to, culture, and same as what we were just saying there about Misty and what she was speaking about. If somebody's not quite right for the business, not quite right for the culture, it's never going to belong.
Preach it.
Abby Britton's.
Abby Britton's.
That was a great part. It just, we started and we couldn't stop.
Great backdrop for one. Best podcast filming setup for two.
Who is Abby Britton, for anyone that doesn't know?
Manager of Exeter City women's football team.
Very good.
Number 3.
It was amazing to see how undergunned that women's team is, isn't it?
Yeah.
In terms of like facilities, money, investment.
Yeah.
And it was amazing to see like how far behind the men's game the women's game is. Which I understand why.
Yeah.
I mean, it is coming, isn't it?
Well, that's what I found really interesting is I think on the outside looking in, when you're not in the depths and breadths of women's football, you think, God, it's booming. It's brilliant. But actually, what Abby was saying is they don't have the middle ground infrastructure to keep up with it. So all of the grassroots, like clubs, like when you're at primary school and stuff, everybody's really keen to get girls into sport. And then when you are really good and you've made it, that's obviously growing, getting better. But it's the people in the middle that are good at the sport, want to carry on playing it, but they don't have the support to be able to push on and leave their jobs and focus on it full time like they do over in the men's side of the football world. So that I found really interesting because on the face of it, I'm like, bloody hell, Millie Bright, she's doing great things for women's football, which she is. But there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, that was a really fun conversation, actually.
I got a lot of traction in that conversation as well. It felt like that there was quite a fan base that enjoyed watching, listening to that.
There's a big Exeter City fan base. Big Exeter.
Up the city.
Up the city.
On the architecture pods that we did then, AJ and Sophie, little phrase that I threw around quite often last year, protection of function.
Loves it.
I'm obsessed with it. I think it's such a good debate.
Isn't there been a news article about that just recently?
Maybe, send it my way, please.
Yeah.
Why haven't you already? We had good conversations about that subject. I was probably hoping for a little bit more, but I know it's quite a difficult subject to be very open and honest about when you're in those kind of positions because people have a very hard stance on both sides.
Fair enough.
So if there's anyone out there that wants to have like, flipping full on,
just message Jeff directly.
I want to be fully informed about this. I really want to know about it.
He'll travel to you.
Being entrenched in the architecture world, it's I think it's crazy that it's not spoken about more, to be honest. But both really good podcasts about architecture, weren't they? They were good fun.
Very good fun.
Yeah, it was good. I think one little lesson that I learned there, or maybe I didn't think about or understand as much as he mentioned about how viability is so important. So it was like the Clarence Hotel was the example, was a lot of nostalgia. People want it to be returned to a hotel to its original form, but it wasn't a wholly viable option. So they've gone down like a slightly different route, haven't they? And it's getting redevelopment to what was going in there. I can't remember. Retail underneath? Apartments.
Oh no, yeah, apartments above, and then it'll be the restaurant.
Yeah. So just like how viability of a project so important.
They were great. They were great conversations, and like again, really applicable to recruitment around like the cost of all these things and fees, and architects actually talking about their fees rather than racing to the bottom. That sort of vibe. And I think that's probably just a theme throughout the whole of the service industry, isn't it? When like tendering and costing, that sort of thing.
Yeah, because they were talking about like minimum base levels for certain projects that people won't really go below, and otherwise, you do end up just racing to the bottom all the time. What's interesting with that is the same with so many industries, is there's quite a lot of like us and them with the competition sometimes, isn't there? It's like, oh, you guys are the competition, so we don't want to speak to you, share ideas or something like that. Whereas I think AJ's stance was there should maybe be a bit more collaboration across businesses that might be seen as competitors, but ultimately they're all kind of working in the same industry, so they want to lift that all up together.
I think it's probably easier said than done, isn't it?
Yeah.
With a lot of that sort of stuff. Get the idea. But yeah, I just wouldn't, especially in like a market like, today where price and, finances are so important when, things are a little bit tougher. It's almost always going to come down to price, isn't it? A lot of the time with these sort of things. So it's really difficult.
Yeah. Anyone else? Any real highlights?
I've got a few subjects which I just really enjoyed talking about. Again, the first one we've already mentioned, protection of function. We had Brad Burton on and loved a few of his sort of little snippets about decision making with the, was it 24 seconds, 24 minutes, 24 hours?
24.
If you can't make a decision in 24 seconds, wait 24 hours. If you can't make 24 minutes, then 24 hours. And if you can't make it in 24 hours, then don't make it at all. That was really good. I quite like that. And then his worst case scenario and best case scenario.
Yeah, that's good.
If you can't live with the worst case scenario, don't do it.
Yeah.
I quite like that actually, because it did break things down, doesn't it? It gives you a bit of definition when you're actually thinking about things.
He was good at putting things into perspective, wasn't he? If you feel like you need some perspective, go and listen to that because God, he puts you in it.
One, maybe it's not a subject we spoke about, but one thing which I think we struggled with last year, and I don't really have the answers for it, but we had some great conversations around the podcast, didn't we?
Especially after.
Before and after, you bring up these things, and I think it's probably a theme with most podcasts. You hear it on bits and bobs and other sort of things, but you have some great conversations after the podcast, sometimes before. And I don't know, are we not making people feel relaxed enough to talk about these things? Are we speaking to people that maybe don't have the free rein to be able to like be as open and honest as they would like to be with a lot of these sort of things?
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Like,
is it the pressure of the camera?
Yeah, all of the above, I think. Yeah.
I think it's all of the above. Yeah.
It's hard to be like fully
Fully engaged
and put everything out there if you're not doing that on a regular basis.
I think we're probably like that as well. Like even behind the mic, behind the camera, blah, blah, blah. You do think of so much more after as well, don't you? So yeah, that was a bit of a theme which I saw last year.
Well, I'm taking from that, go back and listen to some of the old episodes. Like there's some real good stuff in there, isn't there? Some of the episodes are quite long. So that's something that we've learned moving forward.
We're working on that.
Try and dial it back or cut things up so that it's a bit more digestible, because there was some really good content in like the last 30 minutes. And some of the podcasts were an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
So you had to get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely check them out. Take a look on YouTube as well, because like all of the good topics are cut up into shorts. So there's some really digestible stuff on there. So there's some really good places to find it.
Yes, there is.
2026 then.
This year.
What's coming?
Season 3.
Jev's getting a new haircut.
I flipping hope so.
Yeah. We've seen a lot of haircuts, Jevon, over the years.
Have,
over on the pod.
Yeah, that's because
I'm not very good at keeping on top of it. I'm just not very good at keeping it so it gets long and then
to be fair,
2024
a lot of different colours from me as well. So hopefully this is the year we.
But what are we seeing from the guests in 2026?
Yes. More of the same, I think. I don't think there's a huge amount of difference. I think, we want to and would like to have as many like business owners and leaders on the podcast. Loved the conversations and stories where people have built something and have been in the trenches and sort of brought it up from the bottom. Equally love the conversations where people are running and owning these businesses and their sort of trials, tribulations. Love hearing about the hard stuff and like the problem solving around that, because that's where you get the most of the learning from. But equally, some more good conversations, isn't it, really? And sort of learning from that, because we've had people on the other end of the spectrum who have been leaders, haven't necessarily been directly involved in the business side of things, but had like so many applicable things to say and comment on to translate across to the business environment. Yeah,
I think just going back to what Tom said as well, we realised that the episodes were a bit too long in one go, one hit. Maybe something that we did learn from Chris Bentley's podcast, which we haven't spoken about, which was equally as great. His was very much rugby at the beginning and then building brands, not working, networking, two very different episodes basically. And those listening probably would have listened to part 1 or part 2. Like you're either into rugby or Chris from his networking business side of things. And we're kind of carrying that forward 2026. So
I think a lot of guests have usually split into 2 subjects, isn't it? A lot of it is like about their business and then the other side is more personal stuff, like business stuff.
Yeah. Or it's their niche,
what
they're really passionate about and what they're really knowledgeable on. And again, we've had so many good conversations where the rear end of the conversation is our guests speaking about how passionate they are about a subject, but you might not have got to the full end of the episode, which is fair enough. So learning from that, and it's going to be in 2 parts
it's now. It's going to be a lot more digestible for everybody to actually view and listen to.
And you've come up with a slogan, haven't you?
Have I?
Come up with it. You come up with a new name.
What have I come up with?
Uncovering stories.
Oh yeah.
Sharing the journey.
Yeah.
Learning from experts.
Yeah, did come up with that.
God,
that was 2025.
I can change a few of those.
Yeah.
But we've got some big guest names lined up. Jev's been doing a little bit of outreach already, so check your inbox.
Yeah, they're flying in.
Do you want to say a few names to the camera?
Mitch Tonks, Rockfish. Michael Keynes, Limpston Manor. James, Michael or George Dart from Darts Farm. Tim and Ria, Barboy. John Doyle, Race World.
Accepted my connection request today, actually.
We're already on the way.
I forgot I spoke to him on the phone the other day. When I was off ill, had a telephone number from 01392. I was like, who's this? Answered, and it took me really by surprise. It was like, it's John from Race World, and because we'd been to the SDS thing, he was asking about signing up for the business thing.
Bloody hell,
he's on it.
He's on it.
And then I kind of got off the phone. I was like, is that the main guy from Race World? And anyway, so hey John.
Do you want to come on the pod?
There's one more big name.
I'll let you say this one.
Tim Martin, aka Mr. Weatherspoon.
We met him, we didn't really meet him. We had a selfie with him.
We
Fully
fully met him.
Did you have a conversation with him?
Yeah, I said, what are you doing in Topsham? He said, I live here.
That was the end of that.
And then we said, what are you up to now? And he said, I'm going to my grandchildren's.
Right, okay.
I pointed at him and said, that's Tim Martin.
Well, we want Tim to come on because we had such a great conversation with him in Topsham on our Christmas party day.
when we met him.
So yeah, there's the guests. And there's others. There's other people, but that's a little hot list, isn't it, to start the year?
It's a little hot list, but if you think you've got a great story
that you think is worth sharing.
What's this?
I don't know. We teed that up.
Where's this come from?
I just wanted you to finish it.
Oh, please reach out, yeah. Send me your email address and I'll send you an email.
Is that it?
Is that the pod?
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, that's the pod.